What's up, investors? It's Mike from MJF Invest. Today's video is going to be about blockchain technology. This is the technology that's behind Bitcoin, behind Ethereum. I want to start covering those on my channel. I want to start talking about Bitcoin. I want to start talking about Ethereum specifically. But I want to make sure that the viewer has a reference point or understands what blockchain technology is. This is the technology behind Bitcoin that runs Bitcoin and Ethereum, that runs cryptocurrencies. I want to discuss what it is, what it does, maybe some concerns about it. And I also want to talk about what I think it's going to do in the future. Although Bitcoin and Ethereum could possibly be flash in the pans, it could possibly be the future currency, they could be gone. We don't know. It's speculative. This much I know. Blockchain is here to stay. This is possibly the most important technology that we've ever created as a species. It can do so much. It can correct so much of the wrong going on in the world today. It could really set up humanity in the future, in a transparent way, in a trusting way. Exchange of information from A to B, whether it be financial transactions, whether it be any information or metric, in a safe, secure way, and transparent where the network is in control. We're going to discuss how it works in a minute. Before I go any further, though, please smash that like button. I got a young channel. I'd really love to grow it, full of positive investors who love this process. If that's you, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when I upload new content. It should be noted and remembered, I am not a financial advisor. You should do all your own research. It's ultimately your decision whether you want to buy any of the stocks I talk about on this channel. Let's talk stocks in the comment section. I feel like this video was important. I just picked this book up the other day at Barnes & Noble's called Blockchain Revolution by Don Tapscott and Alex Tapscott. This book really opened my eyes to what blockchain is, what it's capable of, and how it could be possibly tweaked or adjusted in the going forward to really, be incredible. I've never really seen something like this before. I don't know if we ever have. This is basically, in my opinion, the biggest invention since the internet. This is incredible technology. I'm very excited and fascinated to see how this goes. Now, I'm just talking about blockchain as the technology. The reason I wanted to make this video again was so everybody knew what it was, because I want to cover Bitcoin and I want to cover Ethereum on this channel, and I wanted to have a reference point, like I said. So if I do a Bitcoin video in the future, I can say, if you want a better understanding about blockchain, link in the description, etc., etc. So I hope to understand what blockchain is, how it works, what we can use blockchain for, and what are some challenges the tech could be facing in the future. First and foremost, what is blockchain? I think that's a little bit better, right? The internet is run by third parties, pretty much. There's always a third party involved, no matter what you're doing. Either Google or Facebook or somebody that you've allowed permission or access to your stuff is being monitored. So there's always third parties. That should be noted. Blockchain would kind of give you control of your data. How that is. So, first let's think. We'll go back to 1981. The inclusion of cryptography was included into the internet, but with no success because it always had leaks because it involved these third parties, right? In 1993, eCash came around, but it was bankrupted by 1998 because nobody really understood the need for security or piracy or privacy, any of that stuff. Nobody really understood it yet, I don't think. So that went out pretty quick. So by 1998, that was the first time we saw like an online payment attempted. In 2008, after the financial crisis, Satoshi Nakamoto came out with a white paper for a new protocol for peer-to-peer electronic cash system using a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. He established a set of rules in the form of distributed computations that ensued the integrity of the data exchange among these billions of devices without ever going through a third party. a time when people around the world were worried. Governments were in control of currencies, and they're printing money left and right. And we're going through that again right now. They're printing money. They printed money all last year because of unforeseen circumstances. This pandemic was a nightmare. Nobody wanted that, but it's not in our control. So here our governments go printing money. I don't know if everybody understands this. That causes inflation. That causes taxes are going to go up, down the line. This will all be paid for at some point. None of this is free. None of this stimulus stuff is free. None of it. It will be paid for. I think we're starting to see a little bit of inflation now. When you go to the store, the cost of goods and services are going up, and they will continue to do so. This technology was created off the back of that in 2008, during the 2008 financial crisis. Okay. And if you want to try to understand the type of a database, it differs from a typical database in the way it stores information. Blockchains use data in blocks that are often and then chained together. As new data comes in, it is entered into a fresh block. Once the block is filled with data, it is chained onto the previous block, which then makes the data chain together in a chronological order. Different types of information can be stored on the blockchain, but the most common use so far has been a ledger for transactions. Right? So we're going to talk about that through the video. Other things blockchain could be used for. Right now, you say blockchain, people think Bitcoin, they think Ethereum, they think cryptocurrency. This video is going to be about what else blockchain can do. In Bitcoin's case, blockchain is used in a decentralized way so that no single person or group has control. Rather, all users collectively retain control. Decentralized blockchains are immutable, which means once the data is entered, it's irreversible. For Bitcoins, that means that the transactions are permanently recorded and viewable to anyone. Now that's good in a lot of cases. That's its strength. That's what a lot of people like about it. And it's also could also be, something that people don't like about it as well. Because there is transparency. It requires transparency. Not necessarily personal transparency, but at the very least, you could look at the blockchain and see the transaction was made. Blockchain seems complicated, and it definitely can be, but its core concept is really quite simple. Blockchain is a type of database. To be able to understand the blockchain, it helps if you first understand what a database actually is. Right? I'm going to assume that everybody knows what a database is. It's a collection of information that is stored electronically on a computer system. Spreadsheets are designed for one person or a small group of people to store access limited amounts of information. In contrast, a database is designed house significantly larger amounts of information that can be accessed, filtered, manipulated quickly and easily by any number of users at once. So how does a blockchain differ from a database? Well, one key difference between a typical database and a blockchain is the way data is structured. A blockchain collects information together in groups, also known as blocks, that will hold sets of information. Blocks have a certain storage capacity, and when filled and chained onto the previously filled block, forming a chain of data known as the blockchain. All new information that follows that will be freshly added to the block is compiled into a new formed block that will also be added to the chain once filled. So picture a Rubik's Cube. Each person is responsible, or a few people in the network are responsible to verify a part of an equation that says, like, you are who you are, you have what you say you have, and the transaction is good. And it's broken up into little sections, and each person verifies into the blockchain. Once it's on the blockchain, it is now viewable for everyone else who is part of the network. As you see here, this is how it will work in Bitcoin's case. And again, this is not just for Bitcoin. This is for blockchain technology, but in this use case, we're going to talk about how it's used for Bitcoin. So a new transaction is entered, as you see here, and then the transaction is then transmitted to a network of peer-to-peer computers scattered across the world. This network of computers then solves equations to be confirmed and validated for the transaction. Once that's validated, it fills one part of the block. Like I said, think of a Rubik's Cube. So you see there. And then, once confirmed to be a legitimate transaction, they are clustered together into blocks. And then these blocks are then chained together, creating a long history of all transactions that are permanent. And this is a cycle that continues. Decentralization. For the purpose of understanding blockchain, it is instructive to view it in the context of how it has been implied by Bitcoin. Like a database, Bitcoin needs a collection of computers to store its blockchain. For Bitcoin, this blockchain is just a specific type of database that stores every Bitcoin transaction ever made. Again, so it's a decentralized database that not one, no government or no entity controls the database. It's a database that's verified by the network, by the users in blocks, which makes it extremely safe and secure. Okay, so so now that we know what blockchain is and how it works, what can we use blockchain for? We talked about Bitcoin already and Ethereum, right? I wanted to talk about, I found this to be extremely fascinating. This article here by Christopher Allen, he wrote it for CoinDesk. It's called The Path to Self-Sovereign Identity. Okay, and to keep the video concise, I know everybody's busy, I'm just going to read my highlights, things that I found extremely fascinating about it. But again, the gentleman's name is Christopher Allen for Coinbase, and the name of the piece is The Path of Self-Sovereign Identity. It's really fascinating. I really think that you should read it. It raises so many points and so many ideas, and really can help give you a picture of how powerful a tool blockchain can be. I'm just going to read the opening. It says, I want to share a vision of how we can enhance the ability of digital identity to enable trust while preserving individual privacy. This vision is what I call self-sovereign identity. Why do we need this vision now? Governments and companies are sharing an unprecedented amount of information, cross-correlating everything from users' viewing habits to purchases, to where people are located during the day, to where they sleep at night, and with whom they associate. In addition, as third world countries enter the computer age, digital citizenship is proving third world residents with greater access to human rights and the global economy. When properly designed and implemented, self-sovereign identity can offer these benefits while also protecting individuals from the ever-increasing control of those in power who may not have the best interests of the individuals at heart. So we're talking about your online data, taking control of that, who you are, right? Online with your data, deciding who sees it, right? We talked about it a little bit earlier. Facebook and Google and a lot of these companies, they're third parties. They're involved with your data, and then they sell it to these other places. That could lead to a ton of privacy issues. That could lead to a ton of fraud and identity theft issues, you know, if you're not careful, especially if they sell it to some of these shady companies. Through blockchain, you could be in control of your own data. It also could be beneficial for these companies because it could help them navigate through a lot of this data to get directly to their target audiences, their target market, their target demographic, right? And we're talking about identity theft. I mean, why should anybody have to be worried about that? Somebody to steal your online identity. I should be in control of my online identity and my online data, and who sees it and what is done with it. You know, that's just how I feel. And this opens the door for that. This technology gives the power back to the people in a transparent way, built on trust, based on trust. The network has the same objective, the same agenda, the same narrative as the users. It's not overseen or controlled by a government or an entity that has an agenda or ulterior motives, right? I mean, these places and institutions, they don't have our best interests at heart. They're ultimately, at the end of the day, they're looking for revenue. They want to know what's going to help their bottom line. I mean, am I right? Other ways that I noticed blockchain could be used was a marketplace could be created for companies that use natural resources. carbon, water, oil, whatever. I mean, a lot of these companies are digging up the Earth's resources completely unregulated and selling it for major profits with nobody regulating it. The blockchain, you could set up a marketplace and incentivize reducing your carbon footprint, reducing the amount of water you use, recycling your water, etc., etc. Incentivize it, and then in an open source, a true open source block form, blockchain, problem there, and that's why it's so brilliant. Right now, a lot of attention is going around voting. This is the solution to voting. Blockchain. I've heard scenarios and speculation that this could be a way to peer-to-peer, cut out middlemen totally. We don't need Robinhood. I could buy my stocks right through the exchange. We all can with blockchain. With Uber, you don't have to pay Uber. The network can connect you directly with the driver in a safe way. If you get me from point A to point B, that's what you call like a smart contract by Ethereum. Well, we'll get into that later. But this is where I think we're headed. And I'm excited about it. And this technology fits right into the future, right into this channel. It's perfect for this channel. I talk about disruptive, innovative technology, growth stocks, and this is perfect. Perfect for my channel as well. Also, I wanted to discuss a little bit of the value. This is an article by IBM for blockchain for supply chain solutions. This is a use case paper, really interesting and fascinating. They go through how their blockchain system really helps them keep track of the merchandise from each location and the value that this can bring in a variety of ways. A lot speculative, and I don't know. And I don't know if Bitcoin and Ethereum will be here 10 years from now. Nobody really does. It seems like everybody's guessing. But I do know this technology will be here. Blockchain will be here. It's here to stay. And again, in my opinion, this is the most impressive technology that I found, specifically the way Bitcoin is used. Bitcoin's blockchain is amazing. That's going to be my next video. But again, I wanted to reference point for you to come back to. If you didn't know what blockchain was, this could be that point. My next video is going to be about Bitcoin. I'm very excited about that one. Blockchain is facing some challenges. The tech has to keep an eye on quantum computing. It's not necessarily available yet, but it will be at some point. So I know I'm going to keep my eye on that. As high as I am on the technology and as much as I love it, you do have to keep an eye on the fact that Moore's law. If you're familiar with Moore's law, it's there's a reverse end of that. Moore's outlaws, if you will. With more technology and more processing and more power, you're also going to get more data nappers, more hackers, more cyber bullies, more spies, and more zombie farmers. So, we got to keep, and just the idea that it's built on trust, the trust protocol, I think that really kind of ties in to what humanity needs, and this can go a lot of different ways. They're going to need talented people in this field that could design, like artists in a way, that can engineer this software to human needs and where we're geared for in the future. So I think this is really important stuff, and I wanted to talk about it. Stay tuned. Next video is going to be about Bitcoin, my thoughts, how I'm playing it. I'm really excited about this stuff. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe for future content. Let's talk stocks down below in the comment section.